From East Tennessee and Thunder Valley, we work our way west for the second round of the Area Cup Series playoffs. Nestled in Middle Tennessee sits this concrete mile-and-a-third racetrack. Welcome to Nashville Superspeedway. I'm John Ramos alongside Hunter Sleppy. Currently drivers on track in this playoffs, ready to go from one round to the next. We're already getting ready to eliminate 4 drivers from the playoffs, going from 12 to 8. It all takes place this evening into the afternoon time on Sim. Let's go ahead and bring it to our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Somewhat of a home race for all the production side as we get ready to ride. Well, that round we just had before at Bristol was interesting, unique with how things went down, but the playoff picture looks just as unique as well. Seth Knoll, Jake Nichols, John Hall, that's the big 3. You still have Adam Cabot, James Scioli, Michael Curran, and others all battling, but think about 12th on back, or kind of in that red zone. You look at Jonathan Evans, Dylan Alt, Brandon Bowie, Connor Horn, they're outside looking in. Everyone wants to look at Bailey Turner as the last one in as of this moment. Hunter, you've been giving us big information this entire week, this entire year, of what to expect here at Nashville Superspeedway. What can some of these viewers expect with it being a big change? We're going to get ready to nestle some drivers out before the round of 8.
There was a lot of unknown heading into this race, and then I got some info from some drivers that had some practice sessions before this was all said and done. Originally, the practice sessions were abysmal. It was either too hot or the setup was too off, but they made some adjustments to it. And I still think we're going to see a pretty good race. It's not going to be completely dark, but there's the chance that the lights will come on towards the end of this one. There's a good, slight chance, I should say. It's still going to be hot. It's still going to be slick. The tire fall off, I think, is better than what it once was. I have reports that tire fall offs were pretty bad after 10 laps, where the wear on all 4 tires was around the low 80s. So they made some adjustments to it, and I think it's going to be a much better product. That being said, there's still a good bit of unknown, considering this is the first time Area has gone to Nashville since Season 3. And the last time we went here, Jake Nichols won in a caution-free event. Now, I don't think that will happen this time around. I still think we see some yellows, but one thing to note is that there is one driver looking to keep a certain streak alive, and that is David Weishart. He's led a lap in every single Cup race at Nashville from Season 1, Season 2, Season 3. And looking at the past history, only once has the driver who's led the most laps has gone to victory lane, and that was David Weishart back in Season 1. Season 2 had the best finish overall, where Dom DeLeo made a move. Actually, I shouldn't say made a move. He let the first 2 guys in front of him wreck each other and then took the lead on the last lap en route to victory. With that being said, some guys, shouldn't say some, but they are still mathematically eligible to advance into the next round without a win. Jonathan Evans, I saw he's in the session. Dylan Alt, I'm not sure if he's here. He can still mathematically point his way in. Brandon Bowie as well. And then we have a tie for the 8th spot, and the way tiebreakers work, it goes by wins, top 5s, and top 10s, and then after that, if it's still a tie, then it goes from the number of second place finishes or third place finishes or so on and so forth, until the tie is broken. So it's between Bailey Turner and Connor Horn, and you mentioned it. Turner has that 8th and final transfer spot because of his win in the Area 500. So still tight with the cut line there. Peyton Howell only 5 to the good. Michael Curran 6 to the good. 7 to the good is the 7 of Scioli. 8 to the good is Cabot. Then we get to John Hall, where he's sitting comfortably in double digits. The same with Jake Nichols as well as Seth Knoll. Overall, I'm looking forward for it to be an exciting night, and there's still a chance that a non-playoff driver could sweep the first round, I should say. Kwame Scott won last week at Bristol, a non-playoff driver, so the odds are still stacked against the playoff drivers heading into this field.
So let's talk about this real quick, because I know some people are going to be asking and wondering, will we see the top drivers know for sure advance tonight when the race is done, or are we going to have to wait till a later date to understand who the Elite 8 are heading into the next round?
As far as I'm concerned, Seth Knoll is mathematically locked. He's got a 50-point cushion to that cutoff unless something drastic happens. There's 99.9% chance that Seth Knoll is locked in. Jake Nichols, he's still sitting comfortably. He's got over a 30-point margin, and then it's a little slim with John Hall, but he's still got a good margin. Adam Cabot on back, they cannot afford a mistake. I mean, no one can really afford a mistake, but Hall, Nichols, Knoll, they have a good points cushion compared to the rest.
So the big thing is, will we be able to know who is in and who is out before we go ahead and log off tonight as the stream?
Yes.
So we're gonna crunch the numbers before we let everyone go.
Yeah, barring a certain situation, if there's an intent wreck or anything that would result in a points penalty or a suspension, then it should be set and done before the stream is over.
Bingo, and we're ready for that. Here's something I want to talk about, right? We're just moments away, 3 minutes, 4 minutes before we head back trackside to go ahead and watch qualifying. Eric W. said, you know, $20 to the 20 iRacing dollars to the winner if we can get them right, okay? What do you think? He's going to pick. We're going to pick. What do you think? Who do you think is going to go to victory lane tonight?
Interesting. I think we do get a playoff driver to win. I think it's the guy that's won here before, and his name is Jake Nichols. I think he's going to win.
I'm going to go Seth Knoll. I'm going to do the easy pick right there. I know he's already basically locked into the next round, right? I mean, he can start in park if he wants to. I think Solar Flare is all big and going out there and winning. Knoll is right now 4th quickest in practice. Cabot goes top of the board. Blaze McKinney, 2nd quick. He's been doing pretty well in practice. Just needs to show that speed in race trim. But I'm going to go Seth Knoll. Eric W., we want to know what you think as well. Couple rounds left, right? We've been talking about the schedule. We've been talking about the path to Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is a 160-lap race. Concrete jungle. It's going to be tough for these drivers. I think track position is going to mean something. We could see some great pit strategy if we get long green flag runs, right? But what is it going to take in your eyes to make it to the next round for those drivers that are on the bubble?
Well, you're going to have to be fast, and seems like track position might be at play. Don't really get too many yellows, so if there's any chance you could try and get track position, take all risks necessary to do so, especially if you're below the cut line. You have to think of some creative ways to advance your position further on not just the racetrack but on the leaderboard as well, because it's do or die for some of these guys. So guys with speed like Dylan Alt, I don't think he'll have that big of an issue. Brandon Bowie, he has 3 top 10s to his name, but he's going to need probably a much better finish than a top 10 in order to advance. Jonathan Evans, he is the lowest of the playoff drivers, so he might need a win. He could still point his way through, but
and we still have win in your end.
Yeah, it's still win in your end, so anyone below the cutoff line, if they win, they're in, and then that would spell disaster for Bailey Turner and Connor Horn. If any one of those that were below the cut line win, then they'd both be out.
All right, going to be fun to see. After this, we got Las Vegas next week, followed by Auto Club and Charlotte. Late July is when we go ahead and crown ourselves a champion for the Area Cup Series. Get ready for a lot of marketing media for that Final Four race. I can't wait for Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Nashville is less than a minute from us going trackside. Viewers, here's the big thing, right? NR Night in America is back tomorrow. What we did last year, or should we say what we did last week, is we had a great amount view in. We said, you know, we're going to go ahead and base it off of how many tune into area. 80 plus likes on this stream. We're going to have at least 3 races tomorrow. Buy it in, pack it in. Just want to point that out as we know there's been a lot of overlap. Hoosier 400 early signups have come out for that next e-ticket event that will also be in late July, as well as us getting ready for the NWP 400, our blockbuster summer e-ticket event. Signups and pre-signups will be out soon. All that should be taken up within the week. We've already had, I think, 50 pre-signups, which means it was only put out to the Discord. So keep an eye out for the full signups to release for the Hoosier 400, hopefully in tomorrow's NR Night in America. Back on the area side, yes, we heard a lot of you guys talking about putting more area stuff behind us during the pre-race show. But just seconds away before we go ahead and figure out who starts where. Hunter, any thoughts before qualifying?
There's a good bit of guys with EOLs and some with drive-throughs. You mentioned Blaze McKinney up there on the practice sheet. He's got a drive-through. And then your pick, Seth Knoll, he has an EOL along with Jonathan Evans and Travis Beckner. So a few playoff drivers looking to start from the back and climb their way to the front.
It's never stopped him before, let's be honest.
nothing really stopped
I don't
that.
think anything well, early in the season, you know, Seth Knoll wasn't Seth Knoll early in the year. He was just Seth. There was no Knoll in there. But then, you know, second half started to see that stride come together. Going to be fun to see. Brett Pooncaria and company have now worked their way onto the Speedway for their single car qualifying effort. Dylan Alt is well in 47. Hunter, my favorite part every week, you pick a driver and then they're not in the Discord. Who do you think we should interview when qualifying comes to a close?
When it comes to a close, I say we go with Bailey Turner just because he's in a virtual tie right now.
All right, we're gonna talk to Turner.
I look, he is in the Discord.
Okay, good. That's the funniest thing.
Unless he dips in the next 5 minutes, then I don't know.
I like what you mentioned on how these drivers were kind of struggling, right, with figuring out this car track combo. I don't expect a lot of cautions tonight. Just from what I've seen in other leagues with Nashville Superspeedway and what we have had with NR Night in America, if we're going to have a caution, it's going to be early, and then it's that long green flag run. Is that something similar to what you're expecting?
It has happened in the past. There's not a... Well, the latest yellow at this track was around 71 to go, and that was back in Season 1. Season 2 was with 116 to go, and then, as mentioned, Season 3, no yellow whatsoever. I doubt that'll happen. We might get an early yellow. I don't think we get a late yellow, and I'm looking for lap times to be drastically what's the word I'm looking for? It's
spread apart?
Drastically different. That's what words are tough sometimes. The pole time in Season 3 was about a 30.0. And the fastest time, from what I've been told, at least in the practice session, was a 30.9. So lap time since the last time we went here is going to be off by close to a second.
All right, let's go ahead and see how it goes. Michael Curhan, top of the board, bingo. At least as of this moment, dropping down what? I want to say a 31.53. McKinney, we talked about him and what he's going to have to do to go to victory lane. Senesac, Robertson, Opplinger, and company still putting down a time. Betha and Dylan Alt in 47. Remember, his Bristol run was really interesting, right? In the fact that it didn't go the way he wanted to. But with the regular season and how that all kind of worked out, Dylan Alt, oh, I was going to say he was doing a lot better than I thought. Scratch that. He's back in 11th. He's someone that could very easily go out there and win this race.
No doubt about it. Bethea, he also has a drive-through, so qualifying time irrelevant for him.
Nichols, Horn, Cabot, no times just yet out of those drivers. They're sitting off the exit of pit road. We're continuing to watch Ben Pierce. He's on the speedway, working his way down into turns 1 and 2. Jonas Shinu is up to 6. However, I haven't really talked about Cosman in quite some time. Ryan Swan in the number 20 machine is back. He's rolling in the right direction, P8. Grant Robertson and company outside that top 10. Brett Pooncaria, remember his big old run that we saw at the Talladega Super Speedway, one of that near glass fitting moments. A lot of drivers waiting the last moment, and for a couple reasons, right? That sun dips behind the clouds is going to drop the temperature maybe 1 or 2 degrees, can make you just that much quicker. Dylan Alt, top of the board at 30.015. Nonashinu, Swank, James Scioli, there he is, working his way to turn 3. Connor Horn, Reese Schaefer. Schaefer working his way around the speedway. What to do, what to do. For some of these drivers that are on the bubble of either making it in or out, Kwame Scott, he's just trophy hunting. I'm going to laugh if he goes ahead and completely sweeps around as a non-playoff driver. Hunter, has that ever happened before?
Non-playoff driver? No, that has not happened before.
All right, good to see it here tonight. As we watch Scott work his way off turn number 4. Will work his way to the stripe. Keep an eye on this lap time. He's outside of the top 20. First time, a 32.89, and it will jump him 12. Travis Beckner goes 10th. Patrick Moose goes 9th. Everyone else kind of locking in those final seconds. Connor Horn, Peyton Howell, Justin Opplinger, and Seth Berger putting their lap times in as well as the clock does indeed strike 0. This is Nashville Superspeedway with the Area Cup Series second round of the playoffs to kick off the final round of the round of 12. It'll be the round of 8 at Las Vegas. I think we really have Las Vegas circled because that's going to be a really good race. Auto Club as well as the round of 16 before ending it at Charlotte in round 17. Bang, bang, boom, done. Let's go ahead and interview some drivers before we get going as they head out for their warm-up session. You said Bailey Turner, correct? And I believe Hunter did say Bailey Turner. Let's go ahead and drag him in. Turner, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, this round's already about to come to a close right when it just got started. How do you make it to the next round?
Man, it's going to be tough. Battling against two teammates there that, are all really competitive. So, it'd be awesome to see all three of us kind of jump a few guys ahead of us and make it in. But it's going to be a handful tonight. I think luckily the car will probably tighten up throughout the race with more rubber and the track dim coming down, so it won't be quite a handful. But I think it's just all going to be maintaining track position and kind of putting yourself in position at the end.
All right. Talk about that, right? Putting yourself in position at the end, but track position is going to be a big issue. How do you pass here?
Yeah, we haven't really figured that one out yet. I think you're going to see a lot of guys using that new aero tools with the update. It seems like you can really loosen up somebody in front of you if you get close enough on corner entry. So I can see a lot of that happening. Cars already on edge, so using that tool to loosen somebody up and get by them, I think is something you're going to see a lot of tonight.
Is the next gen more fun to drive now than before?
Yeah, I feel like kind of level the playing field. There's a lot of guys in here that, you see a lot of sim races throughout the week, and a guy like me, I only run probably 2 races a week max, so it's kind of level the playing field. So still have a lot to learn. I think all of us really do as far as this tire and aero model and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a learning game the whole night. I think we put in a lot of practice over there at 609, so hopefully that kind of all pays off.
All right, we've had great viewership all year long. These people have been watching for quite some time. What do you think they could possibly be in a show for? Or do you think it's going to be caution fest, long green flag run strategy?
I think probably a little bit of both. I imagine we'll probably get 1 or 2 runs in there at the end, but I could definitely see a lot of guys, that haven't really ran a lot and, aren't used to this aero model, getting loose and probably taking each other out, heck, even me included, but hopefully not. But should be a fun one. I think, if somebody can maintain close enough to the leader and get them loose, you can see a few good battles, but it's still going to be tough with, the leader always having clean air.
Excited to see it. Bailey Turner, good luck.
Appreciate it.
And we're going to go ahead and drag him back. Let's get some more guys in here. Brandon Bowie, another playoff driver. Bowie, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, championship time, right? A lot of things on the line for you. This is a round-ending race. Making it into the next round, it's going to be crucial. You weren't doing too bad there in practice. How's the car?
Loose. Very, very loose. I think it's going to be really, really important to kind of save your rears. Try to be able to progress forward. I'm starting 16th, so which isn't too bad. Yeah, but the guys that I have to try and beat, I believe are both in front of me. So, going to be an uphill challenge. Those guys are really, really experienced. I've kind of been part-time here and there, so trying to be there in the long haul and see how it shakes out in the end, mainly.
What makes this track so unique in your eyes?
Oh man, probably just the concrete. There's really only one other concrete track that we go to, which is Dover. So they're both really, really heat sensitive. So tire wear is going to be a serious thing. We were running at about 100-degree tire temp, or not tire, track temp. So it was a lot of slipping and sliding out there. So, but if you can find a way to be there at the end, whether it's a 2-tire stop or no fuel or just fuel, you could really pull off the upset and really snag a win. So it'll be interesting. If I'm in that position, I'm probably going to just try a Hail Mary. I really don't think I have the speed to keep up with those guys, but if the opportunity comes with the caution falling at the right time, the right place, then I'm going to definitely take advantage of it.
All right, going to be fun. Less than 20 seconds before we grid up. Good luck.
Thanks, sir.
That's Brandon Bowie, race fans, getting ready to head on out. Let's see if we can maybe grab one more. I'd like to hear from Connor Horn before we get going. Horn getting ready to go ahead and grid. Round impacting moment. You're outside looking in. How do you jump a teammate? Do you work with that same teammate if you can on strategy? And could tonight be a strategy race?
It could be a strategy race without those cars being updated. You know, 2 tires probably still works, but in a different sort of way, just because I think clean air is going to be so important. Even if this race goes green, you might see someone on the final stop do too. You might see someone under fuel and stuff like that. Kind of hoping just one of the guys in front of both of us has some issues, whether it's a 24, 52, or whoever else is in front of us. And just hoping we can get both cars in. Otherwise, it's got to be me over him. I'm definitely not going to give it to him. I think I've had a better season, and Bristol's just not my track, as everyone saw last week. So just hoping to get myself in. Hopefully, to get all 3 69 Motorsports cars in. All these Matthew Tomalary paid schemes look awesome all season long. So hopefully, we get 3 of the 8 in the final 8. But if it comes down to me or him, it's got to be me. And just thankful for the opportunity to race and the opportunity to be sponsored by Matt and his Matt liveries and Simrat market machines. Camaros, like I said, look good all season long. 67's got to be in the final round. Has to happen for me.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
That's Connor Horn, race fans, and here we go. Opportunity to figure out who will be in the Elite 8 to compete for a championship come Charlotte. Let's go ahead and ride and see your starting lineup. Presented by Central Mobile Homes, Inc. John Hall, Dylan Alt, that's row number 1. If Alt wins, he's in to the round of 8. Seth Knoll is headed to the rear after not having the things go right there at Bristol. He would have started alongside James Scioli. Adam Cabot and Jake Nichols make up row number 3, with row 4 being Blaze McKinney and Bailey Turner. Row number 5 comes in as Michael Curran and Payne Howell line up and get ready to race. Row number 6, David Weishart and Connor Horn lock in and gridded. Row 7 is Patrick Moose and Travis Beckner. Travis Beckner will be headed to the rear of the field. Row number 8, Justin Opplinger and Brandon Bowie. Bowie, championship driver. Row number 9, Tyler Nichols and Kwame Scott. Scott looking to see if he can sweep the round of 12 by not being a playoff driver. Row 10, Josh Cottle and Jonathan Evans. Evans headed to the rear of the field. Row 11 has Reese Schaefer and Cosmin Yonashinu. Yonashinu back and running with us. Row number 12 sees Hayden Swink and Ryan Swan to the rear. Swan did not participate in the previous race here with the Area Cup Series. Will now be getting ready to green for Nashville. Tanner Betha and Bryce Senesac, that is row number 13. And go back to row number 14 as Jerry Miller and Brett Bunkari. Row 15 has Garrett Grant and Ed Robertson. Row 16, Ben Pierce and Seth Berger. And that will make up the 32 drivers ready to go green this afternoon at Nashville Superspeedway. Evening hours for the ones watching back at home. Everyone else ready to rock and roll. Great field of machines, great viewers watching back at home as well, and we are so excited to have so many of you watching and waiting ahead of this race. Myself, Hunter Sleppy, will be giving you all the information necessary for this 160-lap race and event in Nashville Superspeedway. It's the Tennessee round for round number 1 of the playoffs. And then from there, it's to the West Coast we go of Las Vegas and Auto Club before having the championship be decided in Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dylan Alt comes into this race P11 in the points, needs to get up to at least the top 8. How can you do that? Winning and advancing to the next round. And he's done great things already all year. Just not a good race at Bristol, completely impacted an opportunity to move forward. Dylan Alt now awaits to see if he can win and be in. Nashville Superspeedway, 212 miles for tonight's event. 1.33 miles, that's what we have as a track. Pit road speed 45 miles per hour. Not sure when that fuel will come up, but in Lebanon, Tennessee, things can get quickly moving. The backstretch, 60 degrees of banking, 9 degrees on the front, 14 degrees in the corners as we get ready to ride. It's an all Chevrolet front row as Sean Hall and Dylan Alt get ready to lead us down. Time to ride. 160 laps at Nashville Superspeedway has become a hot ticket in racing since it returned on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule in 2021. Let's get ready to ride. Pace car makes our left on the pit road. The path to the round of 8 starts now. Let's light the fuse in Middle Tennessee. Dylan Alt gets clear. John Hall there in second. You see the rest of the field either fly by 2 by 2 or now crowding single file to the inside yellow line. Curhan side by side. He's with James Scioli. It's Nichols, Weishart, and Turner all dimed up for about 6th, 7th, and 8th. Alt leads lap 1. We know track position is going to be a big deal in this event. Cabot's holding on in third. No changes from deeper in the field. Bailey Turner. David Weishart, Payne Howe, Justin Opplinger, Connor Horn. Horn back in the 12th position. Has Turner and Bowie kind of surrounding. Jake Nichols. Inside, nearly had contact with Curhan. I see Tanner Betha. Excuse me, should I say Bethea? Tanner Bethea coming to pit road with that drive-through penalty. Jeremy Miller, Reese Schaefer, that's 17th and 18th. Josh Connell, 15th position. Kwame Scott dead ahead of him. Hall has company in Adam Cabot. Cabot has not been able to put the medal back down on the floor to find his way around the John Hall 03. Everyone else still roughly 2 by 2 outside of the top 6 or top 7. That's Turner, that's Curhan, Weishart, Opplinger still wheel to wheel. That's Connor Horn trying to sneak his way through. Oh, the lunge to the bottom. Brandon Bowie in the middle. Connell, long way around, 3 wide. It just almost was off turn number 4 before they streak back down 2 by 2. Payne Howe, new livery for this event, has a lot of purple on that scheme. Still with company about as a single file out. 6 laps in. If you're just tuning on in, we say hello and welcome. It's rush hour from Nashville Superspeedway as these drivers have now mostly been able to go arm's length away and start dotting the I's and T's to get laps under the belt. Turner, Nichols, Cabot, Hall, just to name a few of the playoff drivers sitting up inside the top 8. Think about the playoff picture and who will advance if they can indeed do so. Top 12 currently in the playoff picture. That's Evans, Alt, Bowie, and Horn. Those are the drivers outside looking in. The drivers that came into this race inside with an opportunity to move out, Bailey Turner and Payne Howe. Same with Curhan if something goes wrong. So, as you know that, who's currently with an opportunity to move forward if the race ended now? Dylan Alt would advance into the next round of the playoffs. But at that same time, it would knock out the driver currently sitting 8th in Bailey Turner. Turner having to go ahead and wind it up a quick time or two to find his way through the Payne Howe machine. Whereas Howe running on track just behind Bailey Turner in the 7th position. Howe to the outside. Tries to make a pass on him. Turner shuts the door. Switchback move for the Toyota. Michael Curran gets to see this all unfold up in front of him. And Curran is in. He's currently 6th, so 6th, 7th, and 8th in points. Kind of lined up 1, 2, 3 out of order. Turner in 6th, Howell in 7th, Curran in the 8th position. And Jake Nichols comes into this race 2nd in points. Sitting in the 5th spot, James Scioli comes in 5th in points. Right now, the lowest running playoff driver, I believe, is Jonathan Evans. Evans did come into this race 12th in points, 66 back from the leader. And about 16 points back, if I'm not mistaken, from making it to the next round. There's Nichols. See the difference between the top 3? Toe to toe. Oh, we got some movement. Weishart and Moose. Horn nearly blocked to the outside wall in 67. That's allowed Patrick Moose there in that 34 machine really to just roll the center well. Rami Scott is there, looking for some type of opportunity. Inside lane trying to get attracted. Outside lane trying to make a move. What does Scott do? He sits 12th. From 12th to 10th, Kwame Scott, biggest mover of the race thus far. I mean, just for the sheer laughs and for the plot itself, if a non-playoff driver went back-to-back in the playoffs, it would be very cool to see. Now, I don't know if that's exactly going to happen. I still think that we can see Alt and company maybe try something. And currently Dylan Alt started first, in first. That's not changing. John Hall, Adam Cabot, they make up the top 3. But it's already showing early on it's going to be a tough day to beat that number 47. So Alt holds it green. Continue to go ahead and check in on information. Let's go ahead and maybe dial up a word here with Hunter Sleppy.
Hello.
Hunter, what's going on?
Looking through, and Triforce, they're trying something out for Jonathan Evans. Ben Pierce is the test car. He's testing out fuel saving, seeing if that's going to do anything later in the going, as Evans got to try something different for his point situation. Other than that, it's really been calm in most of the channels, other than Lucky Ducks when Garrett Grant spun out early on lap 2. Just a self-spin coming out of turn 2. The yellow didn't come out, but he said he didn't feel anything happening where he felt like the car was getting loose from under him, so just kind of snapped. Other than that, it's quiet on most of the radios.
All right. Let's see how that goes. Thank you, Hunter. Possible fuel saving plot ploy going on. Scioli, there he is in 4th. Trying to make a dash to the inside of Cabot. Jake Nichols is in 5th. He is closed in on the back bumper of the 7. And that's the thing about this new update with the next gen, right? You can't run where the car currently is on track. And it was somewhat like that before the update, but now it is seriously amplified. So watch where Scioli goes into turn 3 right here. Nichols backs it up. He doesn't want to run in the same line. This time he was forced to do so and then jolts right back to the bottom, not just to block Payne Howell, but because the dirty air is so significant with this car, it's tough to run in line with another machine. See it again down into turn 1. Adam Cabot goes high to the outside of Hall. Tries to make a run and a charge. And Nichols got tied off turn number 2 because he couldn't run where he would like to. Here's Turner to the inside of Howell. Because of where the 73 of Nichols was on track, it did block the momentum from the 52, allowing Bailey Turner just to try to sink to the inside, but it won't work. Curran and Connor Horn, that's 8th and 9th. And now all the playoff drivers are in the top 9. Left side of your screen. Anyone with a yellow name and yellow intervals, those are drivers competing in the playoffs for the championship. Once we get down to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Your final 4 will be viewed on the left side of your screen. You'll be able to track where they consistently are throughout the entirety of the race. We want to give a big shout out to all the viewers that have been hanging out down in the live chat below. Eric W., Jason Beckner, how are you? Jason Beckner's been watching every single week of area. Tracy Ellis, Mikey as well coming on in. And Cito as well. 20 laps in, it's been mostly clean, it's been mostly green. Payne Howell, way up the racetrack, completely missed turns 1. Check that, completely missed turns 3 and 4. But winds it back up toe-to-toe with Bailey Turner. Got that one to work. Turner and company toe-to-toe. Lap 21 of 160. Dylan Alt has led every single lap of this race. Adam Cabot and John Hall are back under the knife. Trying another chance at a dance. There's Payne Howell to the inside. Bailey Turner in 7th. Just trying to close the gap. Patrick Moose, Brandon Bowie, David Weishart, Cottle, Opplinger, Travis Beckner, Jeremy Miller. "23 laps in. Left side of your screen, 138 laps to go. At this rate, we will have green flag pit stops. The question of how many stops they will make, up for discussion. Is it a 2-stop? Maybe a 3-stop? I would expect it to possibly be a 2. With usually you see these drivers not being able to go more than 50 laps. Fight for the race lead. Top 3 are under 4/10 of each other. That's Dylan Alt's 47, John Hall's 03, and Adam Cabot's 17. Remember where Cabot was entering this race. P4. Not in a win to advance scenario. Jake Nichols, Payne Howell. Cabot and company. Cabot on the apron, John Hall. Under pressure. Oh man, you can just see Hall get loose, and we talked about that in pre-race. If you get close enough to a driver, could take the air off the back end, maybe go ahead and snap it loose. All being forced to run that second lane. That's through turns 3 and 4. 134 laps to go. Now Cabot's trying a different lane. Up wide, trying to see if he can get the bite off John Hall. Down the back straightaway, which lane does he choose? Inside, outside, no dent in the tire tracks of the driver in front of him. 3 drivers still under a full half second of the race leader and Dylan Alt. Alt has not been able to pull away. Now lap traffic impedes his view. That is Blaze McKinney just in front of him in the Toyota. Payne Howell under Jake Nichols, James Scioli. Toyota 1, 2, 3, sitting 4th, 5th, and 6th. Scott in 10th, you look deeper in the field. Weishart in 13th, he's racing with Brandon Bowie. All right, if you're Brandon Bowie, you say, okay, good news, I can see the race leader. Right, there he is, left side of your screen. The only thing is you have all this traffic in your way. It's almost like you're in rush hour traffic, right? You're getting closer to your destination. You just can't get to that off-ramp because there's just multiple rows of cars in front of you. You can't just get in there. And that's the struggle he's having to deal with still, yes, a lot of laps remaining on the board. Scott in 10th, Herhan in 9th, Jake Nichols in the 5th position, and James Scioli sits dead ahead. And Peyton Howell running wide off turn number 2. Adam Cabot found his way around John Hall. Dylan Alt finds his way around Blaze McKinney. So it's a half a second difference between the top 2 drivers. And Howell in 6. He's just under the 73. Connor Horn. Behind him, Kwame Scott, Michael Curhan. Once again, for the ones looking for NR Night in America, it will be live tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We get 80 likes on this broadcast. We'll have at least 3 races tomorrow. So like it up while you can. 80 likes. We got a shot at least 3 races tomorrow. And the schedule will be out hopefully within the early morning hours on X and Instagram, as well as the Discord server. Also leader, there's John Hall in 2nd, Blaze McKinney. Another one dead ahead of him, Adam Cabot at 17. Bayonel. No exchange just yet for the drivers up in front of him. Let's see if we can go ahead and dial in Hunter Sleppy to hear what Hunter has to say about what's been going on. He's been talking to multiple drivers. Hunter, what's the answer?
So back to the strategy that Triforce is working with. Ben Pierce is the test car right now for fuel saving, trying to see if there's any benefit to that for Jonathan Evans, because he said that reportedly fuel you can go about 70 to 75 laps, and if you save a little bit more, you can get enough to 1 stop. So I'll check in with them a little later on, but about lap 25 or so, he said that he had about 50 more laps until his fuel ran out. So I'll check in with him, see how that goes. Meanwhile, Curran jumping down to 10th, complaining about looseness of his race car. Other than that, still relatively quiet over the radio.
All right, good to know. 126 laps to go. We've been clean and green ever since we dropped the green flag. Still drivers within striking distance of the machine sitting in front of them. Others getting ready to defend on what could be loosely based battles. You have the Solar Flare drivers sitting 4th and 5th. That's Scioli, that's Nichols. John Hall, kind of just sitting in the middle of both wakes. Here's Cabot, and he's been able to just inch in ever so slightly into the Dylan Alt machine. And actually makes up just about half a tenth, I want to say, from lap 34 to lap 35. Big things coming, sun is setting. They talked about maybe the lights being on by the time the race comes to an end. But at this case, rain and time, it looks like we may not have to use the lights at all. Now quickly this race has flown on by. Scott, Moose, Bowie, Weishart, Cottle. Cottle in 14th, Opplinger in 15th. And a good hello to everyone that's been hanging out with us down in the live chat below. Dylan Alt's got company. If something's going to happen, it may have to be quick. To the viewers watching back at home, we want to give a big shout out to Elite Entertainment, as they're one of the big sponsors as a part of the Area Cup Series. Add some life to the party this spring with Elite Entertainment, located in Bowling Springs, South Carolina. Elite Entertainment provides high quality band production entertainment at any location, including karaoke, singo, and more. Visit their link tree at Elite Entertainment LLC for all contact information. Sun behind the clouds. Track grips up just for a moment. as most are quick to try to advance. Connor Horn in 7th. Kwame Scott in 8th. Curhan to the outside. Bowie, Weishart, Cottle. Chimed in, back to turns 3 and 4. Cottle just under Weishart. Weishart gets loose, and Cottle can take advantage. Tries the long way around. You gotta love the multiple battles on the racetrack.
Payne Howell almost wrecked it while battling with Bailey Turner, and he's fallen immensely because of that.
And we'll see how far we can go back. Not sure. We may have just been outside the window. Say it one more time.
Lap 38 with Peyton Howell.
Let's see how far back we can go. Oh, there it is, man. And a great catch of the win. Let's see it once more. This is Howell racing with Horn. Momentum-based strategies. All up for grabs. You can see him gets into lane 2. Just about fully lost the rear end. Right side stuck, got it back going the right direction, but Peyton Howell loses multiple spots on that exchange in turns 1 and 2. Now drops back to the 14th position, championship driver, outside of the top 10. Cabot 35 the difference. And we did see Beckner with his number 28 machine, always looking great. Hey, guess what? Hendry County Motorsports Park is someplace you're going to want to go ahead and be when they get back racing in September. For the ones that don't know, racing in the summer in Florida really is not immense, including in July, right? The hottest part of the year for South Florida, indeed. But for Hendry County Motorsports Park, racing returns on September 20th with tickets at $20 for adults, and kids ages 5 and under are free. Bring the family to the track for the family pack of 4 at $25. Come see racing at the southernmost dirt track in America, located in Clewiston, Florida, off U.S. Highway 27. Visit HendryRacing.com for more information. Cabot is there. He's been in striking distance for quite some time. Now 2/10 separate the top 2 machines. Underneath the Dylan Alt 47. Just doesn't work. Back to the stripe. Hall in 3rd, Scioli in 4th. Nichols with Horn, Turner, and Kwame Scott, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And Cabot's just got to be ready. Cabot with company. Alt is there. Hall and Scioli. Nichols, Bailey, Turner. Kwame Scott in 7th. Three tenths. Caution on the speedway, and it's for Bryce Senesac. going around just near the exit of the back straightaway. And a hard impact to the right front of the 09. 3 Chevrolets make it 4 up inside the top 5. Bryce Senesac with a punch to the nose of his race car. Let's take a look at the replay. It's toe-to-toe with Miller. Miller already with damage from an earlier incident. And that one had to hurt. Look at Seth Knoll. Knoll on the brakes. Watch again, different view. Senesac comes in. There's momentum. Miller just got him. Caution is out for the first time. Pit road is wide open. Hall gets away. Dylan Hall does not. And John Hall will be the driver leading us to green. Hunter Sleppy.
Yeah, coming through. Jeremy Miller said he felt like the 09 just brake checked him all of a sudden coming into turn 2, and that's pretty much why it happened. Bryce said that he sent it in because the 30 wasn't letting him go, and he checked up on corner exit and unfortunately got caught up in the wall, and he's got 2.5 minutes of repair. Jeremy Miller just not happy. As far as the strategy with Ben Pierce is concerned, I think that's out the window now, although fuel run 70 to 75 without saving, so these guys still will have to make one more pit stop.
Okay. 70 to 75. So when do you pit? Well, that's going to be a question we're going to have to find out. Do you still come in a little bit earlier? Tire wear? Do we know about tire wear, Hunter?
Tire wear is pretty much non-existent. These guys are complaining that, well, they're not really complaining, but they're just saying that there's about 5 to 6 tenths of fall off, and that you really can't pass. And Ben Pierce kind of explained it perfectly, saying that it's pretty much the sim got it correct from real life again.
Sometimes when you wish it wasn't correct.
Yeah.
That's Hunter Sleppy.
Sorry, I did talk to Brett McCarr. He said that rear grip not going to matter as much late in the going as far as right front grip. Right front grip is going to be more important rather than protecting the rears.
All right. Hunter Slepp with the great information. So glad to have him on as a pit reporter. Lights off on top of the pace car. Let's get ready to go green. 110 laps to go after a long green flag run. John Hall, Dylan Hall, Bailey Turner, and Kwame Scott. Pace car, the hard left on the pit road. Chevrolets lead us to the restart zone. Back underway for the Music City. Abbott in 5th, Nichols in 6th. Patrick Moose, P10. Oh, 108 laps to go, and there's some passing through the middle of the field. Cottle on the outside, he's trying to make a charge. 73 and Nichols. Same idea with him, Michael Curran. Tries to go underneath the 7. Just can't get it to stick. Scioli P8, Moose P10. You hear Cabot back to the gas. Race started off with Dylan Alt leading the most laps and pulling away. Now it is all John Hall as the race leader. Alt sits second, Scott sits third, and Bailey Turner makes up the top four. Now let's exactly see how many laps were led by Dylan Alt. That's 49 now of 55, while John Hall has the other bid to it. Kwame Scott, Adam Cabot.
Out for the race because of contact made on pit road by Jonathan Evans. Evans is perfectly fine. There's 6 minutes of repair for Yoneshiu, and he said, I'm taking my vacation early, so he was done for that.
So him, Miller, and Seth Berger also out. We see Ryan Swan still racing, leaving us with 29 drivers left to go. Great chime in by Hunter Sleppy there. Ryan Swan with the Rick's Hot Sauce machine. Matter of fact, how about a big shout out to Rick's Hot Sauce? You see them on the top left corner. Love the name, love the support for the Area Cup Series. Head over to rickshotsauce.com and get some of the best hot sauce made locally in South Florida. Try the Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Ryan Swan trying to go to work on the 78 of Tanner Bethea. Dylan Alt is there and is ready to see if he can go out and make a move. Considering underneath the Hall 03. You see the 03 just snapping loose, and he's been doing that consistently. All is there. No, not able to hold on. $102 to go. Scott in third, Turner in fourth, Nichols in fifth, Connor Horn and Adam Cabot, that's sixth and seventh. $17-13 the difference. Alt to Hall, the drive into one. And back to business with now 99 laps to go. Dylan Alt, when he's in. And what he's looking to score. There's Kwame Scott into third. The time he has made up as the biggest mover of the race, as low as 18th at one point, now the highest at third. And his lap for lap is pretty solid right now. Is actually running a quicker lap time on that sector alone, turns 1 and 2, than the Dylan Alt 47. But does it match at 3 and 4? I think not. Alt's going to have to find his way around John Hall at some point if he can indeed get there. Adam Cabot, remember how well he was doing. Now mired in traffic. He's got James Scioli to the right shoulder. He's got Michael Curhan to his back. And in the mirror as well, there's Patrick Moose sitting in 10th. Bowie and Knoll. Howell and Weishart. There's Reese Schaefer in 18th, Blaze McKinney, Hayden Swank. Patrick Moose on the loud pedal. Connor Horn, Nichols, and then John Hall, P2.
John coming through with more updates from pit road. Just an uploader is called in tonight. Same with Bryce Senesac. Senesac frustrated over what happened with his car under, well, that brought out the yellow, so he couldn't take it anymore, called in tonight.
And that leaves us with 28 left racing if we consider Jeremy Miller still viable indeed. So 28 drivers still making circulations around the racetrack. Big update there for Hunter. Thank you so much for that. For the ones watching back at home, once again, 80 likes, we get at least 3 races for tomorrow's NR Night in America. Yes, we're back at 80, sir, 7 Central. Don't you forget about it. For the ones who currently watching area, we're back also for next Monday as Las Vegas opens up the round of 8. Following that, we'll have the conclusion of the round of 8 from racing at Auto Club before the Final 4 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is 95, now 94 laps to go when they get to the line. Dylan Alt has retaken the lead from John Hall. That's allowed Kwame Scott in third to watch and wait. Scott has actually been making up time. John Hall as well. Been able to close the gap ever so slightly. Top 3 separated under a second of each other. Jake Nichols in 5th. And once again, running a different line. You can see him tracking up near the outside wall. Nichols and Turner. Turner trying to force that machine just awfully wide. And almost had to try it again. 3/10 the difference. It's 92 to go. Al is there under Bowie. Daylight open, Bowie is there and chimes to the inside. He's going to do a lot more than 13th though if he wants to advance. Paying out, trying to make up lost ground. Those two hold toe-to-toe. And actually getting a huge shove. Paying out up to Bowie, 3 wide. It's Weishart. It's Beckner on the inside. Blaze McKinney, Reese Schaefer, Garrett Grant, Tyler Nichols. And then there's Seth Knoll in 12th. 3/10 the difference. Horn in 6, no real company there. Hall still 3/10 the difference between him and Dylan Alt. And we know Alt got around Hall pretty quickly. I don't think that's going to be the last shakeup we see. Would not be surprised if the top 2 get another strike at it again. Kwame Scott, P3, has been able to close the gap with what he's had to offer. Jake Nichols in 5th. Perhan in 9th. Connor Horn, James Scioli, Adam Cabot, Patrick Moose hanging out in the 9th position, and Michael Perhan in 10th. Seth Knoll to the inside, Connell watching the scrum from 12th. Seth Knoll has been on the move. At one more caution, you're going to see Seth Knoll in the top 5. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Remember, these drivers still have to pit at least once more. It's about 70 to 75 laps on fuel. Tire wear is not really a big concern. But with it about being 70 to 75 laps, you could see early takers or drivers maybe trying to stretch it a little bit longer. Maybe just take 2 tires. And enough of a can to make it to the finish. But we're not in that bubble just yet. We're in around maybe the next 10, 15 laps where we will have the fuel window open to see who comes in and who stays out. 3.5 tenths the difference between the top 2. Kwame Scott, P3. Haley Turner. Connor Horn, Jake Nichols. And with 83 laps to go, we continue to watch and monitor. Moose, Curran, Seth Knoll, Knoll to the inside in 11th. He's there, nose out in front. Weishart 15th, Bowie holds position. Weishart tries it again. Blaze McKinney back in 16th. Jake Nichols, P5. Connor Horn, P6. Scioli, Cabot, single file, Patrick Moose. Curhan and Seth Knoll. Knoll's just holding on in 11th. .80 to go. Bailey and Nichols, 4th and 5th. And we want to say thank you to everyone that's been hanging out down the live chat. Once again, Richard Rom, how you been doing? Mikey, Connor Line, Cito, Eric W., and all the viewers watching back at home. Just one caution in this race, 80 to go. Handful of laps away before the pit window opens. You just see the lap for lap. What it has been like for John Hall to close the gap on Dylan Hall, trying to run where he is not. And sometimes just getting unlucky and running exactly where he is. You see how tight that car got right in the tire tracks. There's Nichols and Turner. Nichols in 73. Ooh, in toe. Is something going to change? I don't think so. The Dylan Holt Show up front with 77 laps to go. You're watching the Area Cup Series live on the Idk Player YouTube channel, live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. No, not far from Nashville Superspeedway, nor not far from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Most of the tracks nestled within Metro Nashville, Lebanon, Tennessee, located just west of the actual city limits of Davidson County. Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, 2 miles from Broadway. That is downtown. Superspeedway out in the country. No under Curhan. Cottle. In 12th, Noel got one. Does it stick? I think not. Curhan with the switchback and will retake the position back to the stripe. Tries once more. Nolan Curhan on the nose of Josh Cottle. Top two separated under 3/10. It's just a slow crawl, right, for John Hall. And his worry is, does he finally catch him? And when he does, does maybe Dylan Hall come to pit road and play the cards a little bit different? Whatever it could be. Bobby Scott holding on, still the top three under a full second. Bailey Turner, Jake Nichols. Dead heat back to turn 3. Oh man. And Turner is there again. As long as they stay side by side, they're going to be losing speed. They're going to be losing speed. They're going to be losing ground. And allow the drivers ahead of them to pull away. Nashville Superspeedway. This is a race of longevity. Long green flag runs. What that means is you're not guaranteed a caution here, a caution there. Whoever can stay the most consistent, most likely will find victory lane. It has been something to watch. There's James Scioli and Connor Horn. Watch Horn trying to take on that of Bailey Turner. Not the way it is. Deeper in the field, Brett Pancari. These are all isolated drivers running around. Payne Howe, Brandon Bowie, mostly together. Curhan and Cottle. Cottle in 11th, Noel in 10th. Patrick Moose in the 9th position with Scioli and company. Turner in 5th. Cabot P8 kind of in no man's land. Hall has lost some time. Race continues on with 68 laps to go. We're in the bubble. Oh man, Kwame Scott. Loose as ever off turn number 2. And he's lost some time there to Alt's really just regain the momentum. Back on his side. As the top 3 do have that breakaway. Let's go ahead and chime in with Hunter Slumpy. And hear maybe with what he's got to say. See, and unfortunately cannot talk to Hunter, at least as of this moment. We'll chime back in with him later. All single filed out from now on. 66 laps to go. There's Bailey Turner. And you know what? That is very right. It has been a while since we turned it up. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's turn it up for Nashville. And always a great opportunity to go ahead and turn it up when we can. These drivers cannot make it to the end on fuel, so do keep that in mind with what we have. With 62 laps remaining. Top 8, mostly all playoff drivers, minus Kwame Scott, who's trying to do what's never been done before in area, a non-playoff driver sweeping an entire round of races without being eligible for the championship. Scott started the year off pretty decently, did not make the playoffs, but out of nowhere has come around and has been able to make things work. Scioli hangs out with Moose, Cabot, and Knoll. Seth Knoll has now finally cracked the top 10 after having to go way to the back for a situation that did happen at Bristol. Knoll now rides in the 10th position. Right, and one caution makes a big difference in all this. Everything kind of changes. Bowie and Pay and Howe tucked in side by side. Thought about moving them up the racetrack. Easy in, easy out. Travis Beckner in the 16th position. Blaze McKinney, Peyton Howell, Brandon Bowie. Bowie fighting long and hard. Moose and Knoll, that's 8th and 9th. Curran, Cottle. Howell and Bowie. There's Bowie to the inside, the fight for 11th. And already takers coming to pit road. John Hall is in. Does the undercut on the driver sitting in front. That puts Scott into second. Dylan Hall holds on to the race lead. So in theory, he can go the rest of the distance without having to pit. Patrick Moose, Adam Cabot. Cabot in 7th. Others coming to pit road. Now coming off pit road, Jeremy Miller. 27 drivers still left racing. Ryan Swan has retired from the event and is now the next driver to go ahead and bite the dust. What to do over a second makes a difference now between first and second. Dylan Hall at some point will have to come to pit road, but this is the mass shuffle on positions, or should I say just off time alone. What was separation has now shrunk together. Turner, Horn, and Scioli. Moose in 8th. Curhan in 9th. Scott's not in. Dylan Alt's not in. They elect to stay out. Nichols staying out. Turner staying out. Wow, a very, very early decision of that for John Hall to come to pit road. There's Hall now in the 18th spot. He's able to quickly get back on through a dime. 54 to go. There's Bailey Turner in 4th, Connor Horn, and they're coming in. Horn is in. Oh, just nearly missed it. Got it collected before the grass. Nichols is in. Scioli is in. Zach Curran in. Yes, it is. Money stop time for Nashville. There's Turner, P3. In is Cabot. In is Cottle. Staying out is Punkari. Schaefer, Punkari, all kind of in a world of their own. Dylan All elects to stay out. Look how slow they are coming off corner exit. Just like trying to get over a hill, and the caution is out. Caution for the second time in this race. And looking to see exactly who was the root cause of that one. David Weishart is on pit road. Let's check back. It was Weishart a spin off turn number 2. Him and Beckner side by side. I think he just lost it on his own, and yes, that's exactly what he did. Comes back on the track. Nobody else hit him. That leaves drivers that did not pit in an interesting scenario. That's Dylan On and Kwame Scott. They have come on in now. Turner, Schaefer, and others, they're also in. Here's Garrett Grant. The drivers that were all trapped one lap down. John Hall is coming back in. He was in the 9th position. Blaze McKinney, Brett Puncari, and others. Oh, this is going to be an interesting shakeup as we get ready to kind of try to figure this one all out. So, 50 laps to go from Nashville Superspeedway. 2 cautions in the books. Dylan Alt, the race leader. Schaefer, Puncari, Nichols, Cabot. We get ready to ride again. .49 laps to go. Lights off on top of the pace car. Drivers going around to get the wave. As the caution came out in between the cycle. What do you do if you're Dylan Alt? Kwame Scott has the opportunity to do one of the greatest things ever. Be a non-playoff driver and sweep around. .48 to go from Nashville Superspeedway. Reese Schaefer, P4, Brett Puncari, P5. Cabot in 7th. Scott P2, Turner P3, Schaefer not able to dance. Puncari in 8th, under fire. John Hall up to 7th. And Dylan Alt's just poised to go to victory lane. .46 to go. Changes through the pack. Puncari, Blaze McKinney. McKinney up to 9th. Jake Nichols in 10th. Connor Horn in the 16th position. Kind of stuck on that outside. As Miller to the right side, as Bowie to the left side, Connor Horn, 3 wide middle, but the door gets shut by Evans. Scott and Turner, 2nd and 3rd. Makes 1 second the difference from the race leader in Dylan Alt. Puncari in 8th, McKinney in 9th. Nichols in 10th. Cabot back to 6th. Nichols back in 9th. There's Scioli in 12th, Evans in 13th, Bowie in 14th. Patrick Moose, Ben Pierce. Durhan in 18th. There's Bowie in 15th. And Bowie drove it in deep. And Evans is right there with the number 7 machinist, Scioli. Jake Nichols in 9th. Punkari in 8th. Hall versus Cabot. Brett Punkari, P8. What can Scott do? 4-6, 4-8 the difference. Has not been able to close in the way he wants. John Hall, E5, Cabot now 6. Tyler Nichols has fallen back to the 7th position. It's been a long, grueling race for a lot of these drivers, 160 laps. But what you expect here at Nashville Superspeedway, or possibly something to change. Ten legs away, and we got 3 races tomorrow for NR Night in America. For the viewers watching back at home and want to see some NR Night in America action, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, we're back live on this YouTube channel. 37 laps to go now from Nashville Superspeedway. Top 2 separated by half a second. And Dylan All's just been on one today. Absolute clinic. 112 laps of 124. Compare that to John Hall, who rides in 5th. Got 11 laps under his belt of the 124, now 25. Coming to 36 to go. Hall versus Schaefer, Schaefer Wayside. Scott on the pedal, 42 the difference. You see him trying it again. Higher groove, different move. Oh, he gets into the wall just when he got in line with Dylan Hall. Single filing out. Bunkari, Nichols, Howe. Knoll in 11th. $35 the difference. Scott up and into the wall. .38, 3.7 the difference. .40 back. Is closing. I mean, it is not over. Kwame Scott can go out there and win this race. It was smooth, calm sailing until maybe not now. Scott with the pressure, hitting every checkpoint, every milestone. A different lane here, a different lane there. 30 to go. .29 back. 27 back. Now let's see, back to a 3.7 the second he got back in line. 29 to go. Kwame Scott. What he was able to do at Bristol to take victory, thinks about doing it here. Turner, just about a second back. Dylan All in a win and you're in scenario. We'll see if he advances to the championship round. Check that, the round of 8. Hunter Sleppy, you got an update?
Going through right now, Skyley was questionable on why the restart took place the way that it did with him and Carl in that 4 wide situation. I was just about to work my way up with, well, he's actually not there anymore. Well, actually, no, he's still there. Michael Curran, I was just about to talk to him because he was involved in that skirmish as well. Lost some track position, but kept the car going straight and not totally wrecked. And then some guys now wanting a yellow, some guys don't. That being John Hall, he does not want a yellow. Neither does Dylan Alt. Just trying to make it to the finish.
All right, good to go. 26 remaining. Great update there from Hunter. That's why you see certain drivers either one or multiple laps down. 27 the difference. 2 car lengths. What remains resides between the drivers sitting first and second. Oh, Dylan Alt gives the room. Scott to the inside. Kwame Scott, new race leader from Nashville. And now does Alt get it back? Will become the 3rd different driver to lead a lap. Alt to the right wing. Scott higher line to cover off the move. Alt's going to have to try it again, right? Which way do you go? Far side once more. Loose through the center. Drive off exit. 23 to go. Dylan Alt wants the lead back. Turns 1 and 2. Scott won't give it to him. And Kwame Scott holds on. This has allowed Bailey Turner to close in. 7/10 the difference between the top three. Oh, just couldn't clear him. And here comes Dylan All again. Drives it into 1 and 2. Kwame Scott, the run off turn 2 to take the race lead back. Trying to force him wide. All drivers good to go on fuel. That are running up front. Scott led that one. Who's gonna bluff? Scott forcing out wide up near the outside retaining wall. Has to get off of him. Gives too much room. Now Dylan on advantage to turn 3. And Bailey Turner is on the scene. It's a 3-way duel. Here comes John Hall. 4 drivers under a second. Turner P3, giving room to the 2 machines in front of him. $19 to go. Now 7 the difference. All again. Forcing to give up the inside lane. Can Kwame Scott get there? Not going to happen. 18 to go. Top 4 under a second. From a wreck at Bristol in a near must-win situation at Nashville. Dylan Ault, loose off turn number 2, has it powered up in the right direction, that 47. To hold off 3 drivers behind him, coming to 17 laps to go. Got loose again. Kwame Scott is there. This time chooses a higher lane in 1 and 2. Caution! It's an incident between Curhan, maybe Williams, Evans. Evans and Payne Howell, championship contenders. Will now have an impact with what will then be possibly less than 15 to go in the race. Let's check back. There's Evans in 26, Howell in 52. Wow. And a huge impact with Payne Howell getting up and into the catch fence. See it again. Man. And one of those wild moments. Pit road is open, money stop time. As the drivers come on in. Right side's going up. Let's get a word with Hunter Sleppy.
Oh boy, expletives and expletives are being said over the radio right now from Jonathan Evans. He has no clue why Payne Howell did what he did. said he was faster than him over the last 20 laps and that he would have been fine into the next round if he just stayed behind him.
Wow.
But now he's saying that he screwed himself out of not only a playoff spot into the next round, but also looking at probably some points penalties and maybe a suspension coming after this one's all said and done.
So we won't know who fully is in the round of 8.
That wreck might have taken Peyton Howell out of the
Well, say,
round
yeah.
of 8 alone. Yeah, he was only 5 to the good heading into tonight, so not looking good there. Although Adam Cabot, he is also upset over the radio, saying that he was gaining on the leaders a little bit, and he just wants the race to end on its own terms rather than someone else bringing the yellow out and then bunching things up. Could create a lot of drama on this restart late in the going. And then other than that, it's quiet over the radio for most.
All right, we're going to get ready for the one to go here. Let's line it up. Turner, Senesac, I believe that is, going around. Not Senesac, Hayden Swain going around to get their laps back. That puts Kwame Scott, Bailey Turner on the front row, John Hall, Seth Knoll in row 2, Dylan Alt back in the 9th position for this restart. Will have to make up 8 spots if he can indeed do so. With just a handful of laps remaining, let's get ready to watch and see if it is possible. It's the moment you've waited for. The closing moments, the closing laps at Nashville Superspeedway. Let's try it again. 13 remaining from Nashville. Wide goes Turner, Hall in P2. 3 wide, Cabot in the middle. And Dylan Alt could quickly make up ground. How about Seth Knoll? From having to go to the tail to fighting for 3rd. And this is your time, this is your moment. Kwame Scott scoots away over 2/10 of difference. Dylan Alt in 5th. I think he can try to squeeze this middle right here. He does. Under Knoll. Now under Turner. 11 to go. Oh, he's just driving the wheels off. And look how he barrels it on into turn 1. Sun setting from Superspeedway. And now it's under a second, the difference between the top 3. Now he keeps throwing it down in there at turns 3 and 4 like that. It's not going to stick at some point, but he's got 10 laps to go to make up 9/10. And the top 2, question. If Hall goes toe-to-toe with Scott, it will naturally allow Dylan Alt to close on in. He's wide off turn number 2. Oh, what the playoff picture could be. John Hall. One at Homestead to start the year off, coming in from the Truck Series. What a year it has been for him. Multiple top 5s, multiple top 10s. Can this rally late really make a difference? Or is Kwame Scott going to steal candy from them both? 8/10 the difference. Coming to 8 to go, Dylan Alt. Trying what he can, but time just not on the side. And he's just hoping still that Hall gets side by side with Scott. I just don't see that happening, at least as of this moment, until Scott makes a mistake, if he indeed so does. Not the stop that was wanted by Dylan Alt. Here's toe-to-toe, Seth Knoll, Adam Cabot, championship drivers. You can tell by the banner. 7 to go. Here's Kwame Scott. Ripping around with John Hall hanging out in second. And Hall's got to be smart here, right? When you make this decision, can you get in and out of Scott? Is it gonna work? Here they come, turns 1 and 2. Hall to the inside of Scott. Scott barrels off turn number 2. And Hall's gonna try it again. Five to go from Nashville Superspeedway. This time Hall to the outside. Scott to the bottom. And this dance allows Dylan Alt to swing in closer. And he needs full on side by side. That's what he needs, just full on toe to toe, wheel to wheel. That natural increase. 4 to go. Hall has daylight. Slams onto the flat. Kwame Scott on the outside. John Hall on the inside. Hall was loose, keeps it pointed in the right direction. Scott takes the lead back to turn 3. Three to go this time by. Oh, and Scott wanted to clear. John Hall barrels back to 1. Forces Scott wide. And as something happens between the top 2, Dylan Alt is sitting in 3rd. Kwame Scott in 36. John Hall holds on in 03. 2 to go from Middle Tennessee. Scott on the outside, run off turn number 2. It's gonna stick. Hall forced back in line. Whatever's gonna work, if it can work, needs to be on full display now. Santa Blanca, 1 to go from Nashville Superspeedway. Hall in prime position to make the brave move through turns 3 and 4. Does he do it? Final time down the back straightaway. Kwame Scott advantage. Dylan Alt, the runs underneath. A non-playoff driver will sweep the round of 12. Kwame Scott wins it in Nashville. Seth Knoll comes home 6th, Adam Cabot 5th, Turner in 4th. And what a fun way to end this race. Two for 2 from the New York native. An exciting race at that. Alt 3rd, Hall 2nd. Kwame Scott wins and burns it down. League 9 in America, fueling victories all year long and fueled by Victory Fuel. Celebrate tonight's win with Victory Fuel. Choose from caffeine-free flavors like Throttle Punch, Purple Potion, or Lucky Lemon. Each can is packed with electrolytes, charged with vitamins, and kid-friendly. Get 10% off your order with code AREA iRacing at checkout. And Scott burns it down in the grass. The way he was able to burn it down at Bristol, no grass there on that high banked half a mile racetrack from East Tennessee to Middle Tennessee. Rami Scott is the man to do it. Let's go ahead and chat with him. Scott, John Ramos, you got a copy.
What's up, guys?
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. That was one hell of a race, man. Shout out to my Nexus teammates, John and Dylan. That was an absolute brawl. I didn't think the two tires was gonna hold up there, but man, damn, like John was cooking there at the end.
Talk about it, right? You know, one lane to the other. Different lanes coming in kind of late. This race,
yeah.
We all talked about track position. It was going to be brutal, but at the end, it seemed like track position really didn't mean much.
Any track you go to these days, you know, track position is always critical. I mean, at least at the start of that run, it just felt like when I was behind Dylan and John, we were just even. Like it was so hard. It was so hard to make up any ground when, you know, we had that half-second bubble in between us, and like the only way to possibly charge forward and try to get a spot is to drive hard, and you don't really want to do that because, you know, you risk cooking your tires. But yeah, it was honestly, it wasn't as much tire saving as I thought it was gonna be. I was balls to the wall like almost that whole entire race.
Yeah, and it was. Inside lane, outside lane. It was a great dance, a great duel. So how did you hold them off?
Man, I don't even know, to be honest. I just, he was quick. So I just had to try to guess what lane he was going to be in. When he finally got to my inside, I just did not want him to clear me, because if he cleared me, I think he would have won. So, I just made sure to kind of hang on his door and, you know, kind of pinch him a little bit, because I knew the minute he got by, that was probably all said and done. So I just made sure to roll the top. I went in deep, but I just made sure to just keep him underneath me and get the run off the corners, and that was just enough. I thought Dylan was gonna catch us because he popped up in the windshield. Like 2 laps to the white, so yeah.
Yeah, and we are ready to see what's next for you. Making it work 110%. Kwame, congratulations. And a great win for Scott. Able to go ahead and do what he can. Scott, do you want to say anything to any of the viewers? Oh, just left after that. We'll head over to John Hall. Hall, P2. Man, he almost had that win when it mattered.
I know, man. It's just, it's so hard now to pass the leader when he's got the clean air advantage on you. And around here, it's super hard to pass. And I knew I had one shot at him really and truly before the tires got really hot underneath him. And I thought about the slider. Tried doing it earlier in the race. It didn't quite work out as well as I thought, so I figured my best shot was just wrapping the bottom there, and didn't want to wipe us both out either because of the whole playoff situation either. And Kwame's just racing for wins here, so man, it sucks. I wanted that one really bad. It's after the pit cycle yellow. It kind of, I thought I was dead in the water there, and we had good pace towards the end, and yellow there kind of gave us another shot at it, but. Yeah, nothing but props to Kwame and Dylan for racing really hard but clean.
The track, you know, it's changed a lot. You were kind of one of those comers and goers. You were able to lead laps really early. What was the biggest challenge tonight?
Definitely dirty air for sure. I mean, Nashville's super. I mean, we got about 2.5 lanes you can work with here, and if the guy in front of you runs a really wide arc, it's really hard to get clean air, and they can just kind of manipulate you from there. And I'd say that was probably the biggest challenge, and I finally felt really good there at the end, and I let Dylan get by earlier in that run when we took 2 after the first yellow, and that was kind of all she wrote after that. I didn't have faith the left sides were going to hang on very long, but they did at the end of the day, and I was kicking myself a little bit. But
all right, well, and it really worked out at the end of the day for at least you making it to the next round. Is there any thoughts on the championship and maybe being considered at all?
Oh yeah, I think we'll be right there. It's going to be tough to beat Seth and Jake for sure. Those two are the kind of the class of the field, and I always look at what they're doing speed-wise. They're always a reference mark for me, so just got to get through Vegas and Auto Club in one piece, I think, and we'll be there for the championship at Charlotte. Charlotte's been one of the best tracks for me, so if we can get there, I think we got a shot.
All right. Yeah, congratulations.
No, thank you.
Day 2, that's for John Hall. We're going to see if we can go ahead and grab Dylan Alt if we can. And looking up and down for him, no Dylan Alt to be seen. So that will round up the interviews for what we have this evening. Championship is going to be decided. 12 drivers down to 8. We're going to see if maybe we can get Hunter Sleppy here in just a moment, maybe so they can go and update the championship standings. But fun race indeed. We're going to go ahead and wind it all down, and they did go ahead and just do that. So, championship standings, who is in and who is out, and I would say I would know why. Not too happy with what just occurred after Nashville Superspeedway. Dylan Alt came into this race in the 11th position. If I'm not mistaken, currently they have him 9th. Unofficially 9th. So do keep that in mind for the ones that keep out of the area. They have it as Michael Curran, Connor Horn, James Scioli, Bailey Turner, Adam Cabot, John Hall, Jake Nichols, and Seth Knoll heading to the Elite 8. And Dylan Alt, who scored 7 poles this season, 2 wins, 5 top 5s and 6 top 10s, outside looking in when it mattered the most. Heading out west for the Elite 8. Let's go ahead and give you a rundown of where all these drivers did go ahead and finish. Before we wrap up this broadcast, I want to say thank you again to everyone that has tuned on in to the Nashville Superspeedway broadcast here on the IDK Player YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and take a look. Front and center, Kwame Scott goes to victory lane. John Hall, Dylan Alt, Bailey Turner, Adam Cabot. Ends up being the top 5. Seth Knoll, Connor Horn with Brandon Bowie, Patrick Moose, and Reese Schaefer ending up as the top 10. James Scioli, Jake Nichols, Tyler Nichols, Brett Punkari with Michael Curhan, Josh Cottle, Hayden Swing, Ben Pierce, Ed Robertson, and Garrett Grant top 20. Travis Beckner with Jerry Miller, Evans with Payne Howell, Blaze McKinney, David Weishart, Tana Betha, Ryan Swan, Justin Oplinger, and Bryce Senesac top 30. Kazun Yoshino and Seth Berger ending out the running order here at Nashville. 8 drivers heading to the next round. Out west it is before the finale at Charlotte. I'm John Ramos alongside Hunter Sleppy. We'll see you next Monday for more area action. We'll see you tomorrow night for NR Night in America. Starting at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, we say so long from the Music City.